Did the largest bull market that we're ever going to see just officially kick off as not only Donald Trump is being bullish on crypto, but Joe Biden and certain Democrats as well. What does this mean for our industry? What does this mean for prices? We're going to talk about that. We have Tim Warren from Investing Bros joining us to break down the charts. We also have Michael Saylor was just on a podcast. If you remember, he was at a conference saying that Bitcoin was going to be the only crypto asset that was going to get wrapped by an ETF. Well, we got an Ethereum ETF. What are his thoughts on that? Is it good or bad for Bitcoin? You're going to want to hear what he said. Also, a big Ethereum upgrade has just been mapped out. 2025, the Pectra upgrade. What is going to be included in that? And how is it going to change the Ethereum network? We'll talk about that. A big partnership with an ETH Layer 2 and Ubisoft. What is that going to look like? And what are our thoughts on gaming for this cycle? We have that and so much more to talk about on today's episode of Sin City Crypto. Let's go. Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we're the entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel. We take old, boring, and stale information, repackage that whole thing up in a fun and sexy way. What a day to be an American, right? Well, we got Memorial Day, one of our greatest holidays here in the States, but also we've had an absolute 180 reversal, drop an elbow on top of the former policies of crypto. We are moving in a new direction where we'll be the new Hong Kong of cryptocurrency. We'll be the hub or the financial center when it comes to all things crypto. I think that is on the horizon. Absolute bombshells have been dropped by the former president, 45th president, Donald Trump. So if you're bullish on crypto, this is lining up to be an absolute slugfest when it comes to the debates and the now center stage topic, which is cryptocurrency, which no press is bad press when it comes to crypto. We've seen that once before and many times before and many more times to come. Well, that's a lot of times. That's right. You know, do you think this could potentially be the most significant bull market we've ever had? It is about to be earth-shattering, parabolic, new all-time highs. It's a paradigm shift, right? You have the largest capital markets, which is the United States and Wall Street, and the trillions of dollars, the world reserve currency, basically putting down, lowering all the regulatory roadblocks. We are moving into a direction where, with the FIT21 bill, we're classifying cryptos as digital tokens, and we're putting in a framework to identify what is decentralized. And with that said, your tokens are not going to be overseen by the SEC. It'll be the CFTC, which has been a little bit more progressive and forward when it comes to regulation. We've seen that the SEC has led the way when it comes to offering crypto services. We've seen the futures products list on the CME way prior to the SEC spot market on Wall Street. And with that said, also you got the upcoming presidential election, which, man, it's starting. We haven't even gotten into the meat and potatoes of. We haven't even had the first debate. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know what's interesting is, you know, it's one thing, right? It's one thing where we sat here and we speculated, hey, are they going to ask questions at these debates, right? Are they going to ask questions? And we both said yes. There's a different feel when the politicians bring it up without being questioned about it, right? Yeah. I mean, example here. Donald Trump was at the Libertarian National Convention, okay? By the way, if you're not familiar, this is like an opposing party. It's like him going to the Democratic National Convention and speaking. He was booed, but he did, a lot of people say he was pandering to the audience by saying, I'm going to free Russ Ulbricht. But this is part of his speech, just unprovoked, unquestioned, and this is what he decides to say.
I will ensure that the future of crypto and the future of Bitcoin will be made in the USA, not driven overseas. I will support the right to self-custody to the nation's 50 million crypto holders. I say this with your vote. I will keep Elizabeth Warren and her goons away from your Bitcoin.
I got wait. You think he's been watching Sin City Crypto? Because that's a lot of the same things that we've been saying. I mean, it's crazy. You have a former president, someone that's leading in the polls that has a pretty damn good chance currently of being the next president, and he's over here talking about self-custody.
Okay, but okay. We talk about pandering and politicians will say whatever to get your votes, right?
Yeah,
that. I do you think he really gives a crap about self-custody? I don't.
Maybe he does.
I don't think so.
Maybe he does. I don't know.
I think about 70% of what he's saying is what his campaign advisors are telling him to say. Do I think that he believes crypto and Bitcoin are here to stay and that he should definitely not, set it aside? Yeah, I do. Do I believe that he really cares about us self-custodying? No, I don't think he does. So I think part of it is him, trying to get votes and trying to, hype up the crypto community, which he's doing. I mean, we're making videos about it. Tons of content creators are talking about it. But
here's the thing. But real quick, I'll just say that even though it may not, do as you say for politicians on elections is hard to find. I'll agree with you there. But I mean, track record. Dude said he's going to build this beautiful wall. He started it. He said he was going to end the trade, the free trade with China, and well, he put in a lot of tariffs and not sanctions, but tariffs, and he delivered there. Also at immigration. So maybe not all of his points he delivered on previously on his last election nomination, but I think that my personal belief is I think he's going to deliver. Because why? Because, well, he's made a lot of money, and not to mention when he gets out of office, you think he's going to be done with crypto?
No.
So he has a business, he has the Trump empire, he has the hotels, and he knows that, he's got a 4-year stint. When that thing is over, I mean, he's getting sued out the wazoo. I mean, he's going to need some money when he gets out of the office, if he gets elected again. I would expect that he's going to keep his foray into crypto. I mean, his portfolio is growing pretty handsomely on the crypto side. And
let me pitch you something. Okay?
What's up?
So he's got the Trump coin that we have, our community has, the one we talk about all the time, right? The ones it got to almost $14 yesterday. He's got about 500,000 of those tokens, worth around $7 million. Can you imagine if he's either asks about it or brings it up by name, what that would do to the token and what that would do to his portfolio? I mean, you talk about if this guy starts even mentioning it, can this thing go to $100 to $300? You're talking about $10-15 billion market cap. And then what does his portfolio look like? Is that enough to pay some of his legal fees? I don't know. All I know is the dude's got a vested interest. And
we saw what happened when Elon Musk tweeted about Doge. And every single time that he did, it absolutely went parabolic. Now, will Trump recognize that he has the Trump token in his wallet? I mean, I think if he does publicly, I mean, it's going to absolutely make the token go nuclear. And the reason I say that is because it's still outside the top 200 on market cap. It's still a baby.
Robin. Let's be honest here, right? Pepe just flipped ICP, Uniswap, Aptos, Render, Hedera. It just flipped Caspa, right? It's at a $7 billion market cap, bro. And it's a picture of a frog, okay? It's a frog meme. Imagine the number one political meme coin from the number one most loved politician, right?
Well, hold on. Hold on. That's a bold statement there.
Okay, the people that follow Trump and love him, they're pretty damn, like, they love the guy, right? If he said drink bleach, they'll drink bleach. He almost did.
Shut up, bro.
But is it? I mean, you threw out those numbers. It's not crazy to think that if a frog, and this is what Forrest says all the time, and I 100% agree with him. If a meme coin of a frog gets to $7 billion,
okay,
why can't the number one political meme coin from the number one candidate?
I'll come out here with a bold statement, right?
if he mentions his own token more than once, I honestly believe the MAGA, the Trump token, the original, it'll be in the top 10.
In the top 10?
I genuinely believe that. I think it'll get up. I mean, you have.
I hope you're right.
You have Doge and SHIB. No, I mean honestly, Doge and SHIB are hovering around the top 10. Obviously, Doge number 8, SHIB outside the top 10. But if he comes out, I mean, how did Doge get to the top 10? It was from Elon Musk, repeatedly mentioning it.
But it was also the OG meme coin, right?
Yeah,
so when people were just getting a meme,
it is.
But SHIB, right? I think SHIB would be a better example, right?
I mean, SHIB's number 11, I'm just saying that.
But SHIB got to 40 billion.
But the SHIB hype is dying down too, right? And if SHIB
and it's still at $15 billion.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly my point.
Yeah, I'm helping you make.
Yeah, and so I think without Trump endorsing it basically or discussing it, I think it has a very hard time getting up there. 100%. I only have that quote unquote bold prediction is off of the mania of him saying it, right? I mean, we saw the success of his NFT lines, multiple of his wife's NFT line. Actually, if you're looking for more of this style of content, we do got a video dropping after today's show, about an hour after we're over. Goes into kind of the history of how
it's a short story.
Yeah, how President Trump flipped his stance from anti-crypto to it is what it is, I like the dollar more, to all of a sudden, hey, pay me in crypto for my campaign donations, and also self-custody, and Elizabeth Warren sucks. And so far cry from where we were. We got a full video breakdown. That one's gonna be a good one.
I'll tell you what, man.
Also, if you guys watch that, the deal. If you're watching here in the live show, go support our afternoon videos. Put Brola in the chat, BROLA, to check in, to let us know that you watch both.
I don't think I think there's some people that are underselling how important it is with what's happening in the political landscape. That regulatory cloud that's been there since the inception of Bitcoin, right? Well, more so since like 2012, 2013, when it really started going, right? No one gave a crap about it in 2009, 2010, 11, 40,000 Bitcoin for 2 pizzas. No one gave a crap. And then all of a sudden, bam, it starts hitting mainstream. It starts rallying. Investors are looking around. Now you got the eye of the government, the IRS, and all that. And that's all potentially going to be put to rest. And people can now have easier, safer, more convenient ways to get exposure to crypto and not have to worry about the government coming in and shutting it down. It's exciting times. If you've been around for a while, for more than one cycle, you know exactly what I'm talking about, why it's so important. I do want to bring on our guest today. Their channel has been on absolute fire. Him and T-Shroom, they do such a good job. Absolutely amazing. I think they're up to like almost 19,000 subscribers, which is still very undervalued. What we believe what they do. We have none other than Tim Warren joining us from the Investing Bros. What's up, bros?
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Hey, man, we're so excited to have you. Congrats on the success on YouTube, man. You guys have been absolutely destroying it. Just don't grow too fast, okay? Because then,
all the people come out for it. Yeah, I was gonna say, we've been crushing it. I love what we're doing, but of course, we just had to follow suit with you guys. You guys kind of took off there early in the whole bull market, and then other people trailed behind. So we're just all trying to catch up at this point.
Nah, really, man, you guys doing a great job. We're excited for you. We're happy you're finding success. You and T-Shirt, man, your show is really good. I watch it all the time, and so shout out to you guys. Tim, I'm curious to get your thoughts here, and then we'll jump into the charts in a little bit. But this political shift, starting with Trump, doing a complete 180. If there's more than a 180, right? He's maybe doing like a 190 or a 200. It's not just, hey, crypto bad, crypto good. It's like, yeah, we're going to self-custody and we're going to get rid of Elizabeth Warren. And then on top of that, it seems like you have Joe Biden and the Democrats following suit. I mean, the ETH ETF an approval coming out of nowhere. You can't sit there and say there was no nudging, right? What are your thoughts on everything that's transpired and kind of your outlook on the bull market now?
Yeah, there's a lot. You kind of put it well there. That was a 180. I'll say this. I'll talk about the Trump in a second. The bigger surprise to me, I think we all saw the Trump train going in pro crypto. We just wanted the official word from him. It's the ETF that got me by surprise. T. Shroom and I on our channel, I luckily am going to win this bet. I lost the last one with him. But we had a bet going that it was going to take an ousting of Gary Gensler before we'd get an Ethereum ETF. And it was one of those things that was like, well, if Trump ends up winning the presidency, and I think most people believe he will, and we do see maybe a changing of the guard with maybe more of a Republican Senate and Congress. I mean, Gary Gensler's days are going to be numbered. If he gets all three of those, communities going against him, he's going to get fired. I think that nobody doubts that. Even the Democrats really don't like him. But the question was going to be, could he hold on to power? And I'm wondering, after officially here a couple weeks ago, kind of coming out and saying Ethereum, I've been considering Ethereum a security for a while now. We're going to, have to reevaluate this. And then all of a sudden, not only do we get a softening and hey, we're expecting Ethereum ETF to get approved in the next couple of weeks. We got it done sooner than the 31st. I think the deadline was the 31st. They got this done very, very quickly. So whatever's going on over there, I'm interested. Did somebody have something on Gary Gensler that got exposed and they pretty much said, hey, you're going to approve this ETF or this is going to go out? I don't know. I don't know what's happening there, but that was the bigger surprise to me. I don't know if you have a thought there before I go into Trump.
Yeah, I have an idea. It involves a color and a element, thing. It's BlackRock.
Black isn't a color.
Not a bad take.
Black is not a color.
Not a bad take. Yeah, that maybe we saw Larry Fink finally say, you know what, that's enough playing around, boys. We're going to go ahead and approve this thing. It also was interesting that, of course, we had Grayscale files for one, kind of in that defiant way, like they did with Bitcoin. But then they removed their application, so that kind of fueled the fire of saying, "Uh-oh, this could be a real problem. We might not see an Ethereum ETF for a while." But then they hire a new CEO from Goldman Sachs, of all places. There was kind of speculation there. Is this guy going to be pro-crypto, anti-crypto? What's going on here? Goldman Sachs, not normally a friend of the crypto space. But it turns out, was that the biggest turning point? Was that hiring of the new CEO all that they wanted? And then that makes you think, if we had concern about who he was before and his ties with Goldman Sachs, who else has ties with Goldman Sachs? Gary Gensler. And now they're approving it. This would not be the first time in the world of politics that something happens on the surface that looks good, but if you get into the grassroots and the details, they snuck something weird in there. I haven't read the whole thing.
Tim,
but
I don't appreciate you attacking our politicians like this. They're honest people, okay? It's fun.
Yeah,
I'll take it, Tim.
I apologize.
I'll take it one step further. Look at Vanguard, the second largest AUM manager, right? It's second largest investment manager, right? $7 trillion. Their CEO gone or leaving. For the first time ever, they have, instead of promoting from within, they have hired from the outside, and of all people, the former head of digital assets at BlackRock. So, Vanguard's thesis has been, hey, look, we don't have gold ETFs. We don't have Bitcoin ETFs because they're not revenue generating products, right? Well, Ethereum is revenue generating. It's got proof of stake. Of course, it's not going to be included in the ETFs now, but down the line, with that shift, can we see now the second largest asset manager be onboarded into the ETF world? I think people are really underselling the impact that this is going to have, the many different ways the crypto native people, as long as decentralized and centralized solutions can live harmoniously side by side and people have the option. This is great. You get the people that, hey, I don't care about custodying it. I just want exposure to the price action. Great. Go out and buy the ETF. You want to buy it. You want to let your bank custody it. Cool. Would not recommend it. Recommend you custody your own. But hey, that option is there as long as we have the other option as well. So it's very exciting. And, I've been in this space since 2016. I know you've been in a while. Rob has been in a while. Rocco as well. And so it's kind of, I don't know about you guys, but to me, it's a little surreal seeing that how quickly this thing has shifted. I know everyone's gonna say, well, it's been so long, but it was like 3 weeks ago that the president, current sitting president, came out and said, I'm going to veto whatever you pass that's pro-crypto. I'm going to veto it. We're talking about SOP 121. Now we get an Ethereum ETF approval. It's just crazy.
You know, the big takeaway for me is you know, when you mentioned you know, the approval of the ETF, you know, I think what it speaks more loudly to is the broader shift on Congress, both in just not you know, the Republicans, you know, that they seem like they're waking up and siding with Trump. Obviously, he is the nominee, but seems like he probably will get reelected if you go by strictly the polls and what they're saying there. And so, you know, you don't want to push against Trump as a politician. At least historically, it hasn't boded well for the incumbents of the Republicans. And so he's taking a hardline stance and support on crypto. And then, you know what? There's really not much upside to being against crypto, right? I mean,
No.
where are you going to pull in votes if you're anti-crypto? I mean, is there a large mass of voters out there that are like, you know what, if you are pro crypto, that's it for me? No. And so I feel like the downside move of being anti-crypto versus the upside of being pro-crypto is a no-brainer. So which is why I believe that we've seen this flippening when it comes to the Democrats, because in that Fit 21 bill, that one passed 2/3 majority with over 70 votes coming from the Democrats. And even Chuck Schumer was one of the votes as well. Now, you know, I think that you take BlackRock, which probably has influence, which has lobbied the Democratic. Now remember, the Democrats, the BlackRock has previously supported the Democrat nominee, donated to their campaign, also have invested heavily through lobbying to the Democrats as well in the past. And so it was in the best interest of BlackRock to get this ETF passed because, well, they've, you know, Larry Fink has come out and been very vocal and supportive of the ETF for Ethereum. Obviously, their application was in. Also, they talk about tokenization of real world assets. Did he make a call? Or I think it was a trifecta, right? I mean, the presidential campaign sitting there like, man, we are losing campaign donations. We are losing voters. And, well, you know, our biggest supporters, the main companies like BlackRock and the other investment firms and hedge funds and asset managers, they have their own ETF products out there. So why deny them and piss them off? You know what? Let's get behind this. And you know what? This is really gaining steam. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Trump is flipped his stance and is beating this drum for crypto. And I think everyone is not really trying to get in his way. And so I think there's a paradigm shift coming on here in the United States.
Yeah. Some people are going to say that Trump is just doing this for votes. And I will say, I think Trump has a track record of looking at the minority voice and looking at the frustrated people. And he says, you know what, I'm going to be the voice for you. I might even change my opinion on things. You just said like BlackRock historically supported the Democratic Party. Let's not forget the history of Donald Trump. Donald Trump actually funded Clinton's back in the day. Not because I think he was like this diehard Democrat, because as a businessman, you fund politicians, you come favorable with them, they pass legislation that's favorable for you. We actually saw that kind of play out in that debate between him and Hillary years back, where he talked about the tax laws that she and others just like her passed that allowed him to pay very little in taxes. He knows the loopholes there. But I think when the crypto thing comes, some people are going to say he's just doing this for votes. But I think if you think about it logically, his stance in the past when he said, I'm pro-dollar, I'm anti-crypto, it really was coming from a place of ignorance. He had no idea what was happening in the world of crypto. He didn't do business in crypto. He likes the dollar. The dollar symbolizes a sign of power for the U.S. And, of course, he is the president who's trying to make America great again. And so in his world at that time, the dollar has to be strong for me to make America great again. Well, of course, it doesn't take becoming that intelligent. You don't have to agree. You probably don't even have to graduate high school to look at how the dollar is dying. And if something is not fixed, America will be right behind it. And I think that you do see maybe a convenient switch of saying, all right, there's a lot of disenfranchised voters, people who feel like people in Washington are not listening to them, who really want this freedom to have this cryptocurrency thing. You know what? I'm going to start off by defending the right to have cryptocurrency. I don't think one night he didn't like crypto and the next day he just woke up and said, you know what, I'm going to own crypto. I think it started as, you know what, there's people who are frustrated because they feel like their freedoms are being taken away from them. And even if I myself am not necessarily a crypto guy, I'll fight for them, just like he's done that with other policies as well. Now I think he's gotten into it. Of course, we saw his NFTs go crazy. We saw MAGA. I mean, back in January, I predicted that MAGA would become the #1 growing meme coin in this year. Why? Because it's election season, because people love memes in and out of the crypto world. I think he's seeing what it can actually accomplish. And I don't think this is just a gimmick. I think that Trump actually might be turning and seeing, you know what? Crypto doesn't have to compete with the dollar. There's actually a way, maybe taking a little playbook from RFK saying, you know, maybe there's a way that this crypto can actually strengthen the dollar and strengthen America. I don't need to fight this. Let me actually join with it. I think a tidbit that people should know, though, he still has a very small fraction of his net worth in crypto. It'd be awesome to see this number grow. I think currently he's worth just under $7 billion. You know, it depends on what ends up happening with this, you know, the lawsuit he's in and how much money they try to steal from him. But currently, as to date, if you Google Trump, he's worth $7 or just under $7 billion. He has about $10 million of crypto. How much of that was from his NFTs? I don't know, but it's less than 1%. I think it'd be the next cool step in this trajectory of Donald Trump in support of cryptocurrency would be to see maybe somewhere closer to 3 to 5%. That's the recommendation from BlackRock. That actually might have changed. Maybe that's an updated one, but BlackRock suggested people having 3 to 5% of their investments put into Bitcoin. Let's see if in the upcoming months into the election and maybe even past it, if we see a Donald Trump rising in his percentage of his wealth. We see a lot of other very wealthy people taking that route to increase their Bitcoin holdings and crypto holdings. That would be the next bullish step. Do we not just have the words and defense from Donald Trump? Do we actually also have his backing with him holding a large amount of crypto as well?
You know, let me just real quick. Let me throw a little prediction out there. So we had RFK. Remember, he bought $24,000 of GameStop share, right, to signify his, hey, I stand with the Wall Street bet people, the little guy who's fighting against blah, blah. I can imagine a scenario where Donald Trump goes out and buys, I don't know, X amount of dollars of the Bitcoin ETF and uses that as a marketing ploy.
What I was saying is that perhaps he adopts the Bitcoin strategy when it comes to corporations. You know, what we've seen, maybe not quite as deep as, Treasury Reserve for the company, but you know, as you mentioned, you know, some exposure to Bitcoin. I think that's a no-brainer here, right? If you're going to be a candidate that says, hey, if you're for crypto, vote for me, but yet you're not custodying any crypto yourself. You're talking about empower custody, you know, we're going to give you the ability to self-custody, but yet you don't have much exposure or no exposure to Bitcoin. I think most of his crypto holdings are in Ethereum, and then the meme coins that people airdropped them or sent him.
70% of his is that meme coin.
So yeah, so basically he hasn't taken a position on Bitcoin himself personally or through his company. I think that if you're going to run as a candidate and say, hey, I'm your crypto guy, I feel like you need to have some crypto, right? At least some Bitcoin.
I heard he's going to buy Ethereum Classic.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I would expect maybe a Bitcoin strategy. Maybe he gives Michael Saylor a call or something to figure out, like, hey.
I was just about to say that. I think how long before he has a sit down with someone like a Michael Saylor, maybe an Elon Musk. I mean, that's the other one you got to think about, who's very pro crypto. Maybe not as pro as we would like him to be, but he's better than not pro. How long before he maybe has to sit down with Elon Musk and Elon talks some sense to him? Of course, we're watching right now in the news. Of course, El Salvador has been using Bitcoin as currency for years now, but we're officially getting word everything we expected before. Argentinian president, and I'm forgetting his name if you guys remember his name, but Javier Milei. Javier Milei is having conversations with officials from El Salvador to see what it would look like to have Argentina, obviously a much larger country, a much larger economy, follow suit in El Salvador. And of course, these are diplomats that Trump's going to have conversations with. I would love to be a fly on the wall when he ends up having those conversations, hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah, this is what Tim's talking about, you guys. You know, we're gonna talk about it a little later in the show, but I guess we'll just talk about it now. Argentina, Javier Milei, he came in there and he just flipped everything on its head, right? There was word that the federal government had a surplus for the first time in decades. So as Tim mentioned, these people have meetings all the time. We know the amount of Qatar was meeting with, I believe, Jeff Bezos was meeting with Michael Saylor on a yacht. The amount of Qatar was meeting with, I believe, Max Kaiser and Nayib Bukele from El Salvador. So it's all, and then
I'll say this: Trump is easily influenced, especially when on the subject of
you stroke
money.
his ego a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, I've seen enough Michael.
You're the best.
I've seen enough Michael Saylor interviews, and I'm telling you, you get Michael Saylor to sit down with Trump, the two of them start talking business.
I disagree.
No, I'm
the guy for the job is Max Kaiser. I think Michael Saylor would go over his head. I think Max Kaiser, you got a fiery guy, cusses a lot. If you can just stroke Donald Trump's ego a little bit.
I'm telling you, get Saylor in a room, sitting down with Michael Saylor and Donald Trump, and give him an hour to talk about it, and perhaps over dinner. He is going to buy some Bitcoin, or at least make the move for his company. I think it's a no-brainer. I think Michael Saylor will just kind of like talk about he'll dumb it down. His thermodynamics. I think he'll dumb it down to a little simpler to understand.
I don't know who's controlling chat. This sounds like a great poll to go out. Let's get the people's opinion. Who would be the better person to have a sit down with Donald Trump on those issues?
Okay,
so,
if you wanted to see a sit down influential conversation on why you should buy Bitcoin, would you rather see Michael Saylor? Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 2 in the chat if you think that Max Kaiser's aloof ass would sway Donald Trump into.
Didn't you hunt him down and run after him at a conference?
He's a strange one, man. He's very strange. But yeah, 1 for Michael Saylor, 2 for Max Kaiser. Who would you like to see sit down with Donald Trump?
Max Kaiser, man. You got to dumb it down for Trump. Like I said, you just throw up buzzwords like huge and money and win the election and you're the best. Hey, he might be onboarded. All right, Tim, can we get into a Bitcoin chart? And while you pull that up, I'll kind of go over this real quick. So we had Q1 this year was pretty big, 68.68% in the green for Bitcoin. Q2 is coming to an end. Actually, we have one more month. My apologies. So we have the month of June left until Q2 comes to an end. But how that script has flipped, we take a look at historically, April has been a very bullish month for crypto, for Bitcoin specifically. And May has been more of a bearish month. As you can see here, 2021, this was during the bull market, 2022, 2023, all red months for May. And this month is our, as of right now, our third largest month of the year, 15.51% in the green for BTC. The old saying of sell in May and go away looks like, hey, might be different this time. Actually different this time. What is the price? What is the chart of Bitcoin doing there? Tim, I know we kind of broke above 70. Well, we're below 70K, but we did break above 70. We're at like 70,200 when we started the show. What is price action telling you as far as what we can expect from Bitcoin?
Absolutely. Let's dive into it here. I'll share my chart. The first thing, we broke out of this channel here a couple of weeks ago. So this is something that already played out. And to be fair, I think we already hit our price prediction. But this just showed, this is something we were tracking a little bit ago. I told my audience, I said 55, 56 seems like a decent little spot to find some bounce unless something really bad happens. Then you can bring 48 back into the equation. Well, I was a little high because it didn't even get to 56. It got to about 56.4. But now we're rallying up here. And I also told my audience, hey, keep an eye in the next little bit post-halving. Don't be surprised to see some rejection around $71,000. Well, what has happened here over the last couple of weeks? We've seen some rejection. That being said, though, I'm getting close. If anyone has been listening to my analysis for a couple of months now, because I was talking about this kind of range for Bitcoin before the halving, based off of historical price action post-halving events, I'm getting close to saying that this might get outdated. We might have another "this time is different." I mean, we've had so many "this times are different" with Bitcoin price action. We might just go ahead and add to the bag, because if we can actually break above and start to use 71,000 as maybe support rather than resistance at this time, look out. Look out for some moves to the upside. One of the reasons why I say this is because, again, I'll show you guys historically, when you look at pre-halving cycle highs, we've never seen a new all-time high before the halving, like weeks or months before the halving. That's a first here for Bitcoin. But you take a look here. Let me get rid of this thing right here. And you take a look. We had this high back here back in June of 19 months. I mean, darn near close to an entire year before the halving event in 2020. It took 5 to 6 months. It took, I mean, if we had our halving in May, it took all the way until November before we broke that high. And in fact, a lot of the trading that happened post happened very sideways action. But you do see a couple of weeks post halving, we had this explosion in price. Didn't set a new high for that bull market just yet, but it did have a nice explosion in price. My question I have here is, do we potentially just take this fractal right here and take a look at what's happening here rather than a historical feature? Like I said, we don't break that cycle high for months historically. Do we just have some form of an explosion again? And maybe we're keeping an eye around 76 to 80K. If I were to turn on Lux Algo here, it's one of the signals I use the most for trading, but it does give us some long-term output as well, even when it comes to unrealized prices. We technically hit this lower level of take profit, but with all this bullishness in the equation right now and a very strong breaker block below us with support around 67K, I kind of now starting to turn my eyes up to the upside, and I see a price level up here, 76,000, give or take, for the more aggressive take profit. I see this red cloud of resistance after initially kind of rounding over and looking like it wanted to decline on us. We are now seeing it go back to the upside. So now you just have to start to ask the question, all right, can we get this momentum where we push through and get to the higher end of the cloud? And let's just take a fractal type of thing back from 2020. Let's just pretend we see some form of a similar rally here. Let's do percentage here. So we kind of traded sideways and then had a nice 36% breakout. What would a 36% breakout? We'll be conservative here, and we'll go all the way to the bottom of this little dip we had back at 56.4. What would 36% look like for Bitcoin? We're looking somewhere again right there, just south of 80,000. Does that happen? And then potentially we trade a little more sideways through August instead of staying in the zone. Maybe you see something a little more like this, where we hit new highs, but then we kind of trade sideways right in here until August, September. I still believe the big breakout will be later this summer, early fall for Bitcoin. And that's going to be when we start to chase and get over 100K and start to make our way maybe closer to 200K. But for now, we're doing some bullish price action a lot sooner than I thought we would. And I'm interested to see how this one will play out. Now, before I let the TA go, though, I'll show you guys a couple of things. I showed you Lux Algo. I showed you, the take profit, the strong support at 67K. Something to also be aware of here on the daily chart is that we are still continuing to stay above the daily 155 and 200 by miles. That's extremely bullish here as well. And then we come over here into our oscillators, and our oscillators, after looking like they were overextended, you have our stochastics RSI was really, really high. Our RSI wasn't high, so I'm not going to count that one. MACD looked like it wanted to keel over and go south. The Lux Algo oscillator had a massive sell order right here that had a big bearish dot, a big bearish reversal dot, and negative money flow. You see these oscillators keeling and going back to the upside, despite the fact that we're not that far away from all-time highs. If this continues, if this momentum continues, I think it's highly possible that within the next 7 days, we see a new all-time high for Bitcoin. Don't get crazy, though. Don't start expecting 90K, 100K by the end of July. I think at this point, look for 76 to 80K, 75 to 80K. I'll put another box kind of in this zone right here. Right there. Yeah, that's good enough for government work right there. Look for price action to come into this spot, maybe trade sideways, maybe even come back down and turn 71K into support. But look for that to happen before the real big fireworks happen, still maybe August, September of later this year.
We love fireworks. Thank you.
I love fireworks.
Fireworks are great.
Maybe
Except if you're Jason Pierre-Paul. Unless your name is JPP, then it's not good for you.
Oh, that's true. I
Yeah.
mean, he still kept a career though, so good for
He
him.
did. You know,
Three
you don't need-
fingers.
I guess you don't need fingers
Yeah.
to be a defensive end. Tim, we know you gotta get ready for your show, so I want to thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
I do want to share one thing though. Did you guys see this this insider leak here, guys? So you know how every president has a nuclear briefcase. So this is Biden's nuclear briefcase. Just kind of inside look. It's very sorry.
Honestly, that might be a little too
Hey
complicated.
Tim, we're gonna redirect all of our viewers after the live show for yours.
Oh,
so,
awesome.
You'll probably
Yeah,
get
we're gonna be talking about. We're gonna be talking about for anyone who wants to come watch the Vrogues. It's just me today. T-Shroom's taking the afternoon off, so it's just me. But Chainlink, we're gonna be talking a lot of Chainlink. I'm very big on Chainlink going forward, and there's some articles we're gonna look at, charts we're gonna look at, and discussion we're gonna have on Chainlink about to maybe pop off, maybe sooner than a lot of the rest of the altcoin space.
Yeah,
All
I'm a
right.
big Chainlink bull.
Yeah,
I love Chainlink.
you'll get a couple hundred people that'll just automatically
Awesome.
move into there when we're over. And then yeah, man, if you want to, we got a video coming out. You got to make sure you check that out. You know, maybe redirect your people to go check out we got a Trump video dropping. We are super excited about.
There we
Kind of
go.
gives a little insight
go.
into how we got to where we're at with the Trump stance.
That was
So,
a good one.
mhm.
Awesome, man.
Boom.
Well, Tim, thank you so much, brother. We appreciate you guys. I'm gonna ask Rocco to prompt the Nightbot. If you're not subscribed to Investing Bros yet, do yourselves a favor and do so. We're gonna drop that link in the chat. Go check out their live show and their videos. They're doing a really, really good job. Tim, thank you so much, brother. We appreciate you, man. And are you gonna be in
Awesome.
Austin?
Thank you for having me.
Are you gonna be in Texas?
No. So T-Shroom's wedding is on Saturday, so I am
Call
going
it off.
back down to Florida. Yeah. You have to
Sorry,
take that
honey.
up with him.
Got this convention in Austin. you know?
Scheduling issue here. We're gonna need to
There we
push that
go.
back.
Awesome, man. Well, good luck on the show, brother. And we'll see you. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, take care, guys.
All right, bro.
All right. Before I move forward, I do want to give a big thank you. Today's Crystal Clear 4K stream is brought to you by none other than our longest tenured sponsor, that is Cam's Blue Wire Technology. If you want to learn how Cam's can help your business scale, grow, and maximize your networking, IT, and cybersecurity, you're going to want to visit bluewiretech.com or click the link in the description of this video.
Give a little shout out to the chat as well. If you are new here, say hello. We'd love to give you a little personal hola back at you. We got Commander Crunk, Derek D, 3 Doc, Randall McMurphy, Zach Laney, The Freedom Project, Boombox Benny, Mario Beautiful, Anthony Ailman, Avery, D-Nex, Trick Shots, to all of you. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
So we had a big day of Bitcoin inflows. So we had on Friday, we had 182 million flowing into BlackRock, 43 million from Fidelity, 15.6 million from HODL is VanEck, right? Yeah,
I'm not
VanEck. VanEck, and then Grayscale 0, which brought our total net flow to a positive $251 million. So $250 million flowed into BTC. It's just only a matter of time, man. It's only a matter of time. And then by the time we get the Ethereum ETF, what are these flows going to look like? It's going to be interesting to take a look at. I do want to share this. So we shared news with you on Friday that Grayscale applied for 2 more trusts. One of them was Stacks. And this is from Suckymate. Grayscale is buying Stacks like crazy. The fund has already $1.3 million under management in just 2 days. They will eventually convert it into an ETF. You can see here a screenshot. So Stacks is one that we're bullish on. It's a layer 2 solution for BTC. Been around for a very long time. I started buying Stacks when it was around 45, 50 cents. And I know a lot of our community members did as well. So shout out to you if you did. Stacks, where's Stacks at currently? Let's take a look. I think Stacks is right around $2.80, maybe $3 right here. Yeah, $2.13. And so at about a $3 billion market cap. And I do want to share this interesting conversation here, Rob. So this is Jason Yanowitz, the founder of Blockworks. He tweeted, said there are 4 phases of a bull market, to which at that time he said we're entering stage 2. His last post said we're towards the end of stage 2, moving into stage 3. Well, what is stage 2 and what is stage 3? So stage 2, according to Jason, is the excitement stage. The bear market has officially ended. Your coins are nearing all-time highs. Some have even blown past all-time highs. Everyone in crypto understands that we are officially in a bull market, but it's funny because your normie friends still aren't texting you. You're a weird combo of excited and anxious. Your stack is growing, but you feel like you don't own enough coins. I think he was right on the nail. What he's saying is we're towards the end of that phase and moving into stage 3, which is euphoria. Everything you own blows past all-time highs. There used to be a new narrative every week. Now there's a new one daily. The private market gets crazy. VCs announce $500 million funds. They skip due diligence and race to deploy. Every week, a new company announces their $100 million raise. We're mainstream again. Forbes, Bloomberg, CNBC, they love crypto. Then weird things happen. Fortune 500s buy Bitcoin. Athletes and artists get involved. Crypto permeates mainstream culture. Everyone starts to believe it's going to go up forever. Delusion seeps in to decisions. What are your thoughts there? Do you think he's right on the nose there? Or like, where do you think we are in this cycle here?
I think that has been true for cycles past. And so basically you throw out a blueprint, you say, hey, look, what has happened 2021? What happened in 2017? And we would expect the same to happen. That also is true in the broader markets as well. But that has subsided, right? In the early days of Wall Street and in the tech boom, the internet bubble, the housing bubble, they were more sector driven, right? It wasn't like the entire market has rallied. And so I think that maybe it's not this cycle, maybe because we have Wall Street jumping in and perhaps the United States just absolutely going FOMO style on crypto. Maybe the trend continues, but if not this cycle, then I think that by the next cycle, we're going to get an area where Bitcoin just gradually goes up and to the right. Maybe we get some bigger gain quarters or months, but I think ultimately the volatility subsides, and you get sectors that pop off. In the same way that you look at Wall Street, it's not like everything is rallying. The S&P 500 is up, yes, but that's more or less because of AI, right? It's more or less because of NVIDIA is as powerful as it is, or the company is exceeding expectations, and I think that's what we'll see in crypto. And so this shift from everything is in your portfolio up 100%, 1,000%. I think those are going to be really just sector driven. Just like the sector, like the AI sector right now in Wall Street is very hot. I think that you'll find the same here in crypto. I think that perhaps narratives will rally. I think that the political meme coins is an example of one area that'll rally. AI meme coin or AI crypto coins will be another sector.
AI meme coins are rallying too. There's a lot of people talking about this Turbo coin. It was the first ever meme coin launched fully by an AI, right? So I agree with everything you're saying, and it's like, but you don't want to jump into a narrative on the tail end, right?
Do you think? Well, my question is do you think that this coming bull market that everything just goes up like it did in 2021, and that you really can't miss, or do you think it's going to be stagnant areas? NFTs are kind of.
I'll put it to you this way: if you come out of this bull market and you haven't made money, then you did something wrong. Then it's all on you. You can literally close your eyes, throw a dart at the dartboard, and you'll probably make a 2x.
So then you're saying that you think
I think the tide lifts all boats. Yeah. Now, of course,
I think we get what we saw in 2021, but even more dramatic. I think that the older tokens that people expected to rally, the EOS, the Litecoin.
So what do you think are the EOS and Litecoins of this cycle?
I think
I'll start rambling them off. Is Polkadot one of those?
I'm not sure. I can't. I think Polkadot has yet to rally, but I think that certain, I think that they have a rally to come. I'm just wondering how big it is.
Breaking.
I think. Okay, put it this way: Polkadot is getting community interest more than I was expecting it to. Right? It was very little rumblings or talk in regards to Polkadot, and it's becoming more trendy now.
Well, there's been an absolute marketing blitz Like,
That's Pepsi and Coca-Cola have a very successful marketing blitzes, and their companies have grown from it. So is marketing blitz, is that just fake numbers? No, those are people that are watching and people that have been swayed to perhaps join the ecosystem per the marketing blitz. So would you rather pick a project to invest in that has no marketing, or one that has billions of dollars in marketing?
of course,
Well, there you go.
But
So-
but there's a drawback to that as well. One being the Polkadot Treasury. Anytime they vote for a marketing budget, guess what? Those dot tokens that get allocated, those get sold for dollars to pay for such marketing. You look at NASCAR, right? The Indy 500, the Polkadot car. Like, you're talking about the whole crew, like head to toe Polkadot gear, the car wrapped in complete Polkadot, and that costs money. And so, could part of it be the reason the price hasn't rallied is because this entire marketing blitz and releasing these tokens from the treasury to pay for these marketing events and marketing things? Could that be suppressing the price? I think at some point it's going to slow down, and then you're going to start getting demanded, and it's going to offset it, even rise above it. But Polkadot's one where been around for a couple cycles, got to 50, 55 bucks the last cycle. Will it get new all-time highs, or would it be another EOS? Actually making a video on that this week. So you're going to want to watch that to get my answer. But you got that. You got some people throw Cardano in there. Hey, Cardano had a massive rally. It's a dinosaur coin now in this cycle. That's what people are saying. I don't necessarily agree with that. Hedera, Algorand. Some people even say Avalanche. I don't know. It's just people will always go after the new and shiny toy, which is why it's so important that if you are going to have exposure to an older layer one, that they're doing things that'll drive the utility of the token, that even if the speculators who like the new shiny thing don't come in mass like they did in previous cycles, the sheer the thing people are using it for, like take Avalanche, for example. You want to launch a subnet, you got to have 10,000 AVAX tokens, right? 2,000 per validator, 5 validators minimum. And so that alone will drive the price up on top of retail coming in. So you want to look at coins like that. Polkadot has that. Cardano has that. Avalanche has that. For the rest, I'm not going to speak on that.
I'll say that, I know we look at crypto through a lens that ignores everything else business, right? And so when you say, hey, they're selling their own tokens to advertise, I mean, is it any different than, okay, so what is Polkadot doing? They're selling their company's value, right? They're selling the value of the protocol to market. Is it any different if we go back to the Coca-Cola analogy? I pulled it up. Coca-Cola is, they have approximately $34 billion in revenue. And then you don't have to show this here, but you have $34 billion in revenue. And you also have operating cost of, or $34 billion in operating costs. $4 billion went to marketing. Coca-Cola last year spent $4 billion. So that's money they could have opened up new plants. They could have given buybacks for their shareholders. They could have kept that value in the company.
But they're not selling stock to.
But the stock
pay
is
for that.
stock is a representation
Of the value of the company.
Of the value of the company.
Okay.
The value of the company, $4 billion, is part of that value that it got sold. And so it doesn't, I understand it's not one for one. In the same way that we don't sit here and say that, well, a token is a security because it trades like a stock. Like, I'm not saying it's a stock, but I'm just saying that as a crypto project, to simply say, well, they sold tokens, that's bad. No, I'm just saying that, like, hey, man, you know what? To operate, you have to spend money, right? To send a transaction, you have to use some of the tokens as gas fee. You have to pay to play, right? And if you want to market and get your brand out there, ultimately you have to pay for marketing, right? Even Bitcoin paid for marketing, perhaps not in the traditional sense, but there were people out there that spent their time, energy, and money, went on podcasts or whatever it was to promote and get the word out there. And the same can be said for a protocol. And so for me, I find it extremely bullish when the foundation or at the protocol level, they're out here promoting their token. You look at something like Litecoin, the founder abandoned ship. And so it just shows you that, like, hey, this guy doesn't even believe in the project. He kind of sold it all of his own position. And yet you got Polkadot, who is, making an effort to broaden their reach as far as, what they
I'm
do.
not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, hey, could it negatively affect the price in the short term? Which on the back end, I said, I think eventually it'll offset, even grow faster. And now you have brand recognition, you have people coming on, and so I don't think it's a bad thing. In fact, I think more projects should do it. As a company, part of your budget and part of the one of the first hires is marketing, right? You can have the best restaurant, the best product, the best this, but if no one knows it exists, what does it matter? So marketing is part of every business plan. Crypto's not safe from that. So Michael Saylor was on a podcast, Peter McCormick's podcast, What Bitcoin Did. And he was asked about the Ethereum ETF approval. And if you remember, Robin, he was at a conference, MicroStrategy conference, talking about Bitcoin will be the only crypto asset that'll be wrapped by an ETF. It is the only one with regulatory clarity. The other ones are not going to get an ETF. And well, a few weeks later, here we are with an ETF. Here's what he had to say. He's catching a lot of flack for this. A lot of people are turning on Michael Saylor from what he said. Listen. Oh, I have to give me 1 second. Let me get the volume back on here. All right.
So here's what I think. I think 2 weeks before, the world looked like Bitcoin was going to be the only asset securitized and offered as a spot ETF by the Wall Street establishment, and it was going to spread as the one legitimate crypto asset. I think right now, the best expectation is the crypto asset class will be legitimized, supported by both parties. There's an industry. Crypto is an asset class. There's an entire range of use cases, 24/7 digital trading, digital art, NFTs, tokens, decentralized this, functionality, DeFi. There's a lot of things that will be considered in a more open light, and Bitcoin will be the leader of the crypto asset class. And if you look at it and say, well, is this good for Bitcoin or not? Yeah, I think it's good for Bitcoin. I think, in fact, it may be better.
I want to stop there. Hasn't Michael Saylor ad nauseum said that Bitcoin and crypto are separate? Right? The maxis say Bitcoin is not crypto. Crypto is crypto and Bitcoin is Bitcoin. Now it's getting lumped together. I don't know. Interesting.
I don't think so. I've never heard him say that they're separate. No. He has said that it is a commodity. Everything else is security. Bitcoin is better. But the technology itself, I've never heard him say that, hey, it's a fundamentally different technology. I've heard him say that it loses security and it's centralized, not as decentralized. There's, a chance for them to change. But I've never heard him say that Bitcoin is a different technology, right? I think what I watched
He has
this.
said it's a different asset.
It's
So he has separated Bitcoin from crypto.
yeah, but he lumps it all together into the crypto industry.
In this video.
In this interview, and
Yeah.
he said, hey, there's a crypto industry, and there's one Bitcoin, which is a commodity that, and he even says in this one that they recognize Ethereum as a commodity. That's essentially what the passing of the ETF was. And this was a very, if you haven't watched this one in its full front to back, it's very interesting. I would say 70% of this interview was strictly about proposal upgrades for Bitcoin, and it pretty much dominated the entire conversation. And then Peter McCormick was saying that, like, hey, well, what about a proposal? At some point, it makes sense, right? And that was a whole argument. But the Ethereum one was very interesting because, he's saying that Bitcoin can make money off of the Ethereum and is better for the ecosystem, right? And so I'll let you finish the video, but
I don't know. I wasn't going to play anymore.
no, yeah. His thing is I think he has a technology company, and so I think and he has previously said that there is a place for blockchain technology. He remember what was it? Maybe about 6 months ago, he was talking about NFTs and tokenizing concert tickets for Taylor Swift concerts. That was something he said. So the simple use case of move money at the speed of light, he's thought outside of that. Now, perhaps with his own investment strategy, it's simply Bitcoin. That's it. But I have always believed that he recognizes that there is room for other cryptos. And in the same way that you can't stop Bitcoin's adoption, you can't stop the spread of Bitcoin, neither are you going to stop the other cryptos. And so there's no world where we live in where everything is banned and Bitcoin operates. And he recognizes that. The man knows that there's a space for it. And you know what? There's a market for smart contracts. There's a market for other competitor tokens. There's a market for centralized products. And in that video, he talks about corporations and companies shouldn't be excluded from operating with Bitcoin or operating on blockchain, and that you need that. You need at the base layer, you need the security and decentralization. But hey, on layer 2s and layers 3s and layer 4s, you're operating with companies and dApps and protocols and side chains, right? And I'm sure he's not a hater on Stacks. Stacks is another blockchain that leverages the security of Bitcoin. So, I think that, Michael Saylor's a smart man. I think that his investment strategy is not pigeonholed, or his investment strategy is exactly that blockchain or exactly that Bitcoin and nothing else. But I think he understands the potential of crypto as far as an ecosystem. It's not going anywhere. And if anything, the two have to live together. And so it is what it is. And it's going to be a net positive.
Some call his strategy a micro.
Wow, that was good.
Amazing. Want to give one more shout out to our channel sponsor, Cam's Blue Wire Technology. If you want to learn how they can help your business scale and grow, visit bluewiretech.com. Also, guys, as Robin alluded to, make sure to watch our afternoon upload video. It'll be going up in about 1 hour. Pretty interesting stuff there, and how you can not only what's going on, but how you can capitalize on exactly what is going on to make sure that you're positioned to make a lot of money in this bull market in 2024, leading up to the election. You don't want to miss that part of the video. It's towards the end. Make sure you watch from beginning and end. It'll all fit together and make sense. And then we are gonna be in Austin Wednesday through Friday. So make sure you're subscribed and have your notification bell on so you don't miss any of our content. You never know. We might be down there, might run into someone. You might see a video, a live show randomly, and, well, something that you're not going to want to miss. So make sure you subscribe and ping that notification bell. That's all I got. Anyone else? Rocco?
All good.
What's up, man?
Yes.
How you doing?
Doing great.
You
Yes.
going to miss us?
Yes, of
Who are
course.
you going to miss more?
Robin.
I know.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I want to say just a happy Memorial Day to everybody. And also just go check it out, Tim Warren, Investing Bros. So you guys want to just join and go visit their live stream right now.
Yeah. Amen to that.
I think if you just stay logged in here to this,
It's
channel,
already done. Okay.
it'll should auto shift you over there.
Transport you.
Yeah, but today is Memorial Day, and I know a lot of people conflate that with, barbecues and this and that, but let's not forget Memorial Day really is. It's the people that served this country that lost their lives. And so to anyone that has served this country, is serving this country, if you have family there, thank you so much. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without brave people like you and your family. So big thank you to you guys. And also big thank you to this finger, because it's going to get us out of here.
Terrible finger.
Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Make sure to come back tomorrow. We got another packed show for you. We love you. Big thank you again to our guest, Tim Warren. And we will see you tomorrow. Until next time.
Finger tutti.
Sin City, crypto. Everybody know we here for entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I split the game, but they gave it. Named according to your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy the dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a made you grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin, and sinners gon' play to win. Screaming, hola, till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon, then to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting FOMO control ya. It's over when the finger tornado close ya.